Executive functioning coaching in 2025 is going to continue to be the go-to solution for parents trying to get help with their kids' focus, attention, and organization. There are some trends coming up specifically for kids that are struggling with attention, may have ADHD, that are really going to show up in 2025. We're going to dive into those in this video. But wait, before we dive into the trends, I need to refresh everybody. Executive functioning coaching is way more than just a trend. Executive functioning coaching is over and over again the solution that kids need so that they can struggle less at home, at school, with their friendships. And in 2025, it's just gonna get easier for parents just like you to access executive functioning coaching. First thing that's happening in 2025 is we are embracing the tech. Okay, we're embracing technology, we're embracing portals, we're embracing apps, all the things we need so busy families on the go can have what they need at their fingertips. Long gone are the 1 hour, once a week, one-on-one sessions to help your child with executive functioning skills. When it comes down to parent coaching, specifically when it comes to executive functioning skills, research shows across many areas and over again that accountability and frequent touch points are what makes the difference for these executive functioning skills and strategies to become some idea out there that I talk about once a week to something that I actually can own and use and see make my everyday life easier step by step and bit by bit. So accountability and frequent touch points. This is where the tech comes in. For example, in my program, I have a portal where you will have access to cheat sheets, to micro learning workshops. If you have questions, you should be able to ask the questions when you need the questions, not during this, once a month Q&A call, because if something happened, 3 weeks ago, chances are 3 weeks later, you may or may not need the answer to the question anymore. Parents need to embrace tech so they can get questions when they need them on the go. Another popular trend is using quick video messages, quick voice messages to communicate with the person supporting you so that you can get the answers you want, right? You might meet with them once a week, but then as the week goes along, you want to have another touch point to make sure that something new came up. You want to have a touch point. How did it go? Oh, this is what we did. Was that correct? Could I have done it better? Things like that is what the touch points and accountability should look like for you. And tech is totally what we need to make this easier for all of us. All right. Second trend is you need the support that's specific for you. It's interesting because research shows that new learning really gets amplified easier when done in the community, right? So having maybe a Facebook group, having an in-person meeting with other families going through the same thing. According to research, it shows that that's what makes it easier for us, and that's an important piece of the solution. However, what I find is that parents like you do not want to start off helping your kids' executive functioning skill struggles with a bunch of other parents. What you want is you want them to turn in the homework every day that they did. You want them to be able to follow a nighttime routine. You want them to be able to know what spelling words they have to study for. They want to know how they can stop nagging their child and repeating themselves over and over again. That's how I find my clients are best supported. It can be really frustrating to lean into a community of other parents going through the same thing you are, and only to get met with more confusion, well, I tried this and it didn't work. So initially, the trend is not to have these big community groups of other parents going through the same thing, but initially, you want to have that direct, quick feedback and support so that you can overcome the struggles. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of value in finding another mom, dad, parent that has a child struggling with the same exact things that you're struggling with, right? They can end up being your, mom bestie. They can end up being your parent bestie or somebody that you really go to chit chat with. But the trend is not getting your main support from your group of parents. The trend is you want a trusted professional that's going to be available to give you the response you need when you need it. The third trend is all about Zoom fatigue is real. We've had it. I feel like the more we're on Zoom, the more, the worse I get at navigating my Zoom sessions. So while Zoom is a magical piece of the solution nowadays, because we don't have to drive around town, we don't have to deal with traffic, it opens up our schedule. One-on-one hour-long Zoom sessions once a week are no longer enough to really support busy families like you. So for 2025, the trend is this micro workshop that I spoke to you about. Look for, quality, proven, research, evidence-based workshops that are going to give you the information you need based on your child's struggles. That followed with the opportunity to send a quick voice memo, a quick question, and get your response back is the trend for executive functioning coaching for 2025. And I think it's great. I am here for it. And this is a bonus trend based on what I see with the families I work with. Parents need to have executive functioning coaching, any intervention that the end goal is for their child to be independent from them. So this looks like initially there's a lot of we happening, me and the parent, me, the parent and the child, parent and child. And little by little, our goal has to be to bring that independence and success to where the child can use it alone. And that, friends, is an art and a science. It's like a special dance you have to do. Learning when to pull back the support just enough. In occupational therapy land, we call it the just right task, just right struggle, right? We want to have struggle just enough so that we learn from it, but not too much that we end up not learning anything except that this was really hard. So the best way to provide that just right support that leads to intervention is knowing what your child's executive functioning strengths are. I happen to have a guide, which is probably linked below this video, executive functioning guide, and that guide can help you figure out what your child is really good at and what your child needs a lot of support with, and that can help you provide the right strategies so that eventually we can back off after your child has mastered some of the strategies they need to be independent with that skill. So what you need to make sure you do is avoid executive functioning mistakes that parents make. And that is what this next video has, executive functioning mistakes that parents want to avoid.